Hi guys, welcome to Book of Films. My name is Liam and welcome to the first episode of Remake This, where I take a film I wasn't 100% happy with and show you my changes. Today I'm here to talk about the new Halloween movie and how I thought it was a bit of a missed opportunity. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this movie, but generally it feels like because horror films serve a very specific and different purpose to normal films, that the standard of storytelling is lower, and I just don't think that's right. There's nothing wrong with a solid film that delivers on its scares, but the frustrating thing is that Halloween 2018 presents a bunch of fantastic ideas but never utilizes on any of them. I'll elaborate on these three specific missed opportunities. 1. Laurie Strode has been preparing for 40 years for Michael to return, and yet she's still not really equipped when he comes to her house. The idea of a murder-proof house is a fantastic spin on the horror genre, and when Michael comes back to attack, having horny teenagers replaced by a woman who is prepared is a welcome twist on the genre. Not to mention, when he does inevitably cause chaos, it shows how powerful he is despite the preparation, even when the odds are against him. The metal doors in the film are a neat idea, but when you've been waiting 40 years, you think you'd make sure stuff like the lights stay on inside, or perhaps she's equipped with a gas mask and can poison the air. Maybe that would give us a misty, cloudy aesthetic for the final fight to happen in. Perhaps the house has a single entrance and exit, like a maze, and with the windows protected by iron bars so he couldn't reach through and strangle her. The most annoying moment was the fact that the closets still exist in this house that she's been preparing for 40 years, with fold-out doors. Yes, I do realise this is a homage to the original, but you think Laurie would have either made them traps for Michael to spring or had ripped the doors off altogether. This is a big-budget horror movie but written by the most creative horror production team ever, so I was excited to see a final fight that seemed to invert the tropes of a slasher, while still making Michael a terrifying villain. It scratched the surface for me, but didn't quite go to show me how far Laurie would go, and I wish that is something we saw more of. 2. The second most opportunity for me is the bus, full of dangerous mental patients. Psychiatric wards are full of some terrifying people in horror movies, and there have been many films set there in that setting. To see a whole bus of mental patients crash seriously ups the ante and the stakes for this movie, knowing this town has multiple killers going around. I'm surprised there was no fake out where you thought Michael was coming but actually turns out to be one of the prisoners instead, or perhaps a moment where the killer invades a house only for Michael to kill the killer and then save the victim before killing the victim themselves. It's that sort of mindless murder that makes Michael scary, and perhaps seeing him kill a murderer and then kill the person he just saved is one of those terrifying things, because he is a murderer with no agenda, really. Perhaps we could have seen one of the patients have a specific goal in mind that Michael happens to get into the way of. The underlying theme of this movie is what makes someone evil, to me at least, and to see a killer with specific goals in mind contrasts nicely to the reality of Michael, because he is, at the end of the day, someone that is just evil. Maybe you could even have a few of the killers follow Michael like a cult-like figure if you wanted to really set up the action in that house finale, so all three of the Strode women had something to do. It's a little more action-packed and very chaotic as opposed to your usual slasher. 3. The final missed opportunity was what I'm calling the flipping of the switch. A moment in the finale which Laurie disappears from the floor just like the original, and from there we have a short sequence in which Michael diverts his attention to the other girls in the house. But for a few short seconds I sat at the edge of my seat as Michael became the prey and Laurie became the predator. I wish the sequence lasted longer, and had we followed Michael for longer as he searched the house in classic horror fashion, we could have really made this a unique entry into the genre, and this situation is very unique, while also building the parallels between Michael and Laurie, which the film is so eager to do. Continuing the theme of what makes someone evil, having Laurie hunt Michael so aggressively certainly throws another person into the ring for viewers to contrast with Michael. Perhaps if we went with the idea I had earlier of flooding the house with poisonous gas, the gas mask that Laurie would be wearing would make her something of a horror icon herself, with an iconic mask waiting in the shadows to kill her abuser. I think it would just add that little extra edge to things that both makes things a little bit more unique as opposed to your usual slasher film, and a little deeper in terms of themes, while also upping that action, especially in the final sequence, up to 11. Agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments if you thought Halloween 2018 was a good sequel, a great sequel, or a bad sequel, and if you could, what would you do to fix or change the film? Did it even need fixing? Let me know in the comments below. I've been Book of Films. Good night.